Right. Okay, we need now to gravitate also to other issues as well, and also looking at what we have on the front page of the Daily Nation. It's all about NASA and the round that is going on with NASA as well. I don't know. I'll walk over to the touchscreen so that I may just mount it up for our viewers to see that as well. Well, it says NASA in crisis talks on Raila Earth plan. Is it all well with NASA right now as far as that is concerned? We know also there are consultation as far as the parliamentary committee slots are concerned. Wiper is taking special umbrage with that and is dissatisfied. They're saying it is dissatisfied with how it was treated in sharing of the parliamentary committee slots as well. Let's just first of all begin from Shakil Shabir as I walk over there to just put it up for our viewer to see what we have on the front page of the Daily Nation, and as well as the Standard carries the same story as well. NASA in crisis talks on Raila Earth plan, it says. Opposition chief expect to confront claims that some of the coalition's principals are plotting to scuttle the swearing-in ceremony besides resolving complaints that Wiper was cheated out of parliamentary leadership posts.
I'll talk about the issue as not as part of NASA. I'm an independent, as you know, but I do have
leanings on NASA.
Leanings towards the NASA side. I thought when it comes to issues of leadership and parliamentary posts, those should actually be dealt in Parliament. These reasons of saying that Wiper should be given something or another one, or ODM should give up to something, I think those are internal discussions that they may have, but also depends on the person on whose leadership you're talking about. I mean, I can tell you one for a fact, that when the leadership of the 11th Parliament, the minority leadership was with our late friend, Honorable Nyenze. He was a great man, but unfortunately did not have that oomph that was required and that cut that was required. So we suffered. And I remember that our minority was never really organized because he was not well. So when it comes now to the issue of leadership, whether Wiper should be given a spot in the PSC, I think yes, but bring the right person. And also whether ODM must decide who's to be given. I think that's another issue. As I said, I do see our minority leader now being stronger than before. But there is this thing that last time we had ANC taking slot and Wiper taking some slots. And I see no reason why the PSC should not have a Wiper person. But bring the right person. Bring the right person who can make the difference. And likewise with ODM. The ODM should also bring the right person. It is true that in the PSC, and the other one was, of course, the PAC and the PIC. PAC had a strong person. It was agreed it was one day. PIC was meant to go to somebody else. There was internal discussions. I remember seeing that. And the members of the committee voted. Whether they voted because they were encouraged to vote due to PAC envelopes, I don't. Well, I know those took place, but there was a vote, and the thing is, there was a vote, and the vote said so and so. Now, if you are now saying that you cannot put your nominees forward, I think that is against the whole issue of diplomacy, democracy. But the issue of the PSC, I see no reason why ODM should have two people to go to PSC, where we can PSC.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
and
you.
Likewise, let's just take it further, and that's also going to come up. The African Parliament. Why should the same people be going there every time? Just because they're closer to somebody. So also it's also going to come up, the African Parliament, because there are people who think that because they did this, I mean, I remember in the 10th and the 11th Parliament, Shabesh decided she was going to be that. And she was put in the first time, she resigned, then the second time she came and she took it again. So I think this is going to come. And we hope that the NASA organize themselves.
Right. Shemo Chobo.
I want to say that
we'll come to you later.
Independents got nothing. Nothing whatsoever. We were just dumb.
That's sad, unfortunately. I think what we're seeing, Debarl, is what former speaker was saying. Realignments and intra-coalition issues, not just in NASA, but also in Jubilee. And I think we're likely to see more of this going forward. The complaint by Wiper in this regard, of course, nobody would be more competent to talk about that than the deputy leader of Wiper. But I think it's more a symptom of a bigger problem. I am not too sure we'll have the same NASA come 2022, just like I'm not too sure we'll have the same Jubilee come 2022. But having said that, allow me to talk about the issue of the impending oathing or swearing in of the former Prime Minister. During the holidays, I took off 10 days to traverse the area that's ordinarily called Luon Nyanza. From one end of it, what's called Wothogik, to the other end, Port Sio. I even had opportunity to go to Port Victoria to send off Professor Calestos Juma, God rest his soul in peace. The feelings I was getting was that it's a fair amount of confusion on the ground. I had opportunity also to meet a number of eminent religious leaders. One bishop made it very clear that some elders had approached him to try and find out what's the thinking about swearing in. He did say, tell me one thing that I thought was important, that God put people in power. He puts good people, but he also puts bad people. But once God puts somebody in power, it's not advisable to talk of swearing in somebody else. He did narrate the case of Samuel handing over to Saul, the Israeli leaders. Saul was the shortest serving leader. And he did indicate how when Saul was to be anointed king, he decided as commander-in-chief to send the Israeli army to war before he was anointed, before he was sworn in. And when Samuel came to kind of kind of swear him in, so to speak, the equivalent, to anoint him, that he had already taken the functions over the functions of the presidency. Samuel said, "No, I can't go ahead and administer the oath because you've taken the law into your own hands. I have to consult with God." And as Samuel was leaving, he held his robe and even tore it. Samuel told him, the same way you've torn this robe, your kingdom is also torn. And we know the rest is history. Saul died in the war with the army and so on. So the point this bishop was making was that, look, you be careful when you try to do things that mock God. I do not know what People's Assembly means, or the People's President, but that's not to underscore the fact that there are serious problems the country is facing of exclusion and inequalities that NASA are raising that need to be addressed.
Thank you. David, you hold with this view that, yes, this epitomizes what is the fissures that are actually within the NASA right now, because we know even with the swearing in, not every party that is under NASA is really privy or is really actually fronting for that idea.
Well, I hold the view that these are technical issues. I think if Raila and NASA wants to swear Raila in, and Kalonzo, I guess, you know, for whatever it's worth, sentimental or symbolic for the people who support them, they should be allowed to go ahead. I mean, if it is not going to be disruptive to any order, law and order, as they have said, they just want to have themselves, you know, live up to the promise that they made to their people. And I don't see any problem with that, especially because even in their own discussions, they are saying they don't want to take over State House or take anybody's office. They've created an office that they want to swear themselves in. So why do you want to fight people who have such a grand plan? That's how I would say it. And we have said that, and they have said they want to be sworn in as the people's president. I don't think that phrase exists in the Constitution. So this whole thing about being unconstitutional, and you know, I really have not found a place for it in my logic. But I don't think that it's a great thing. We have to have some agreement to finish up this story. The last election must be terminated at some point so that we can then begin to go forward. I'm more attracted to comment about the grievances between the political parties in NASA.
Yes.
Especially the parliamentary disputes about who is taking what. In all this, what is missing is the so-called agreement on the sharing of these positions. As I understand, the coalition agreement did not extend to sharing positions within the House and other goodies that may come along. So the natural thing to do is to be guided by what is fair and just as between the political parties that are in the House and their numbers. And if you ask me, ODM seems to have the numbers. Therefore, in the sharing of things which come up, ODM would definitely want to take the majority or the most of them based on the fair distribution. What the other parties are trying to claim is what, in my view, doesn't belong to them, but they want sympathy, they want gratuity, you know, some you know, sense of help, so to speak, from ODM, which should, you know, donate positions to them. And so I find there is a little merit. If indeed it's about numbers, we have two things here. We have majority. Shouldn't we take it? And if we don't give you, should you make it a grievance? So I think the public needs to be informed basically about what is at stake and what was the sharing and what are the grievances about. Is there any injustice being committed against any party? I don't see any myself.
But there could be, because maybe there was an agreement. As far as we have
and
also...
We have the deputy party leader here.
Party leader will tell us.
They can tell us whether there is any agreement.
The Wiper Party chairman says that it is not a light matter. Our members have expressed strong sentiments that when Kalonzo was away, the committee positions was not shared as agreed. And so he says we'll be looking for a reversal to the original agreements. Right?
What agreement is there? Yeah. Gentleman's agreement? Let's hear from...
yeah, we'll hear from Farah, but let's hear first of all from...
Remember, I also was the chair of that party, so I can speak for it. But please. I don't want to do that now. I'm now in Kanu, and in Kanu, I think unlike my friend there from the Independent, in Kanu, at least we have been able to get some things from our side of the coalition. I got to be chairman, and my party chairman also got to be chairman of a committee. So we are okay in that regard. But there's one thing that doesn't change, and I don't know why we pretend that we can actually develop strong coalition parties. It's never there. It's never there. All over the world, coalitions are bound to have frictions. They are bound to have problems, and they must invest in conflict resolution mechanisms. And that's what is failing here. There should be a very strong conflict resolution mechanism that sorts out the other things. But Debarl, I must say that yes. NASA is strong enough to chew gum and scale the stairs at the same time. They're strong enough to sort out the issues at the parliament as separate from their main issues, for example, of trying to swear in their leader. So those things can go hand in hand, but the conflicts at different levels can be handled differently. And that's what I would probably advise for them to do that. The hula-baloo about the swearing, that is really semantics. It's not, it should never hurt our country. It can never hurt us anyway. And so we should move with the understanding that each party should be allowed to run their business. But we can only advise. That's why I'm saying that the fate of all these coalitions, the NASA coalition, the Jubilee Party, which is almost a coalition now, is in the way they handle their conflicts and the conflict resolutions. And I wish them well during this time.
Right, let's hear from the deputy leader, Wiper Party.
You know, Debarl, we have a problem. We have a problem in this country. These are not, people are not seeking the chairmanships. They're not seeking the positions in the parliament because there is a presumption that on this ideological persuasion, so-and-so can prosecute better than so-and-so. so-and-so is gifted in this area more than the other. It's all goodies and legacy that comes to an individual. So the bottom line is greed. Now let me tell you how that greed also could have been tampered and dealt with in line with the best practices in parliamentary processes and systems. There are those committees that must be headed by opposition. The rule in the rest of the world is that those committees to be headed by opposition, the leader of that committee is going to be determined by the same opposition. Mm-hmm. But what did we do? We said the plenary of that committee is going to determine who the leader of that is. It defeats the whole thing. Because the majority, the government side, will pick somebody who they think they can work with. Now to allow, somebody has got to go to court. To allow, for example, I'll tell you in the case of, is it the Public Accounts Committee that one day? No, Opio one day. It's the Public Accounts Committee. Yes. Opio one day charmed his way into Jubilee, and he contested for the seat. He was not being fronted by any of the opposition parties or coalition itself, and he got 9 votes from Jubilee side, and his vote 10, and he won it. You know what I mean? He got 9 votes from the other side, and his single vote. And I'm sure there must have been some deal struck between themselves. That look, I'll probably be able to work with you for this 2 years or 3 years. I mean, Jubilee is not going to support Opio and I because he speaks better English than the others, or he's a lawyer, and for whatever the reasons. There must be issues that they discuss themselves. And those issues are invariably, in most cases, have to do with selfish individual ends, whether it is from the Jubilee side or it is from the other side. I tried very hard myself during my time to put that sense into it. And we managed to succeed to a certain limited extent. You remember when they were trying to get rid of Ababu Namamba from the
Public Accounts Committee?
Yeah, no. The Administration of Justice and Legal Committee Officer. Yeah. Public Accounts Committee, he came in the 11th Parliament, but in the 10th Parliament, he was a chair of that. And then when this block of Rift Valley Kalenjin members of Parliament now had cut a deal with Uhuru, and they were in the process of coming together right now for the formation of Jubilee. They decided we might as well take over all those, and PNU those days might as well take over all those committees by calling for elections. And that was going to upset the entire national accord we had before, because during the national accord, these were all positions that were negotiated. So as the Deputy Speaker, I didn't allow that to take place. I said, no, you can't. I mean, you can't have the plenary of the committee itself determining who is going to be the chair of that. Although it was a grand coalition, and everybody was effectively or technically in the government. But then there was that also divide between ODM and PNU. And that coalition itself was going to collapse like a dominoes if you begin doing one after the other, because they were going to remove from the committee leaderships all the mainstream ODM that. And you see now the people who have left mainstream ODM and joined with PNU that time, who were mainly from the Rift Valley, were going to determine that, because the votes will definitely be tilted in that favor. But you see, there are basic rules. You cannot run what is supposed to be run by the opposition through the government side. You can't. Jubilee cannot run the Public Accounts Committee. As it is right now, Jubilee is running the Public Accounts Committee because the chair of the Public Accounts Committee is a candidate of Jubilee. So the Public Accounts Committee chair should be determined by the opposition bloc in that. I think about 10.
I must correct you on this.
No. Hang on, let me just finish.
I must correct you on this. I was in the Parliament.
Yeah, but
and I'm also.
Can I just finish so that then you can have your moment? I'm not able to say order now and put you into discipline, because I do understand how indisciplined you can get sometimes. But let me just go ahead and finish this, then you can have your moment too. We have a problem with discipline in this country anyway. Now, the point is that if you allow that scrutiny, that, putting the government to account through the Public Accounts Committee and through the Public Investments Committee, for the leadership of those committees to be determined through that plenary, then the government will control that. It defeats the whole purpose for which it was meant in the first place. So there is need to go back to the principle and get that right. I pushed it myself last time when I was there, and thank God we got it right, and I can tell you it was one of the best performing committees during that time. So then that's the position in my opinion. I mean, that is basically the position. This business, the coalition did not sit somewhere together to determine this. No. Individuals from the coalition cut a deal with the other side, and that's how they were elected into this position. So you can't blame the coalition for it.
All right, so in the...
Can I correct my brother? He wasn't sitting in Parliament. I can tell you with no level, with absolute certainty, that ODM had no objection. A matter of fact, wanted Wandai to head PSC.
This time, yeah.
This time, yes, absolutely. Whether then Wandai went to go and get the other side also to support that thing is a different issue. The second issue, even on the PIC, the same thing happened on PIC. The issue is, if you as a party, if you put the person forward, whether it's from ODM or Wiper, and we want to see, has that fellow got the capacity to lead that particular thing? Abdul Somad Nasser has been in PAC before, and then we have somebody else also, I think he was also looking for the same thing. They took it and they both decided, and they sat down and agreed, and then it went to a vote. The Special Accounts Committee was meant to be led by an independent. However, what happened is the Jubilee side went and grabbed all the independents, and they said we're going to put our own leaning independents. The PSC, also I think there must be certain rules. And you know, you were the speaker, deputy speaker. You cannot have the same person over and over and over again just going into PSC. They just can't have it, because you know PSC is seen as big money, taking big cars and things. You cannot have the same person. The law must be, if you will be in PSC one time, you cannot be in PSC again.
So are they serving the interest of the party leaders?
Can I just interject?
Yeah, very briefly, then we wind up on it.
You are an accountant, my friend, and I think 9 + 1 is 10. That can be done even by a standard one child. You don't have to be an accountant to do that. One day he got 10 votes.
Yes.
And his opponent got 9 votes. And all the Jubilee voted for him. So tell me, who are the ODM people who voted for Ondai?
No, let's be blunt about this issue.
Yeah, no, let's be blunt. Yeah.
Let's be blunt.
Yes.
The ODM, whoever did not vote, the question was money. It was money that then. But the fact of the issue about Wandai is this.
To the small
fact
arithmetics.
of the issue about Wandai was this: that ODM decided, as a party, not as those members of parliament who went in to take envelopes in that thing. No, but the party decided that they are going to have Wandai. At that time, the party decided. I wasn't in the party, but I know that the party decided.
I agreed,
so
but he's there. But you see, but I agreed.
Let's not talk about Wandai.
Just a moment. Just a moment. Don't jump up and down. We see the moment the names are named here. I don't care whether it's Wandai or it is Uhuru or it is Raila or it is, this is the problem we've had in this country. There's a certain loyalty always. You look back at it, and when somebody's name is mentioned, you just go, you freak, because then that kind of a sycophants is there. The point I'm trying to tell you is very simple. Whether that's the mainstream ODM refused to vote for Wandai and took money and voted for somebody else or not, is it not true that Wandai got all the votes of Jubilee?
We don't know. How do you know that?
It's not.
How do you know that? You see, that was a secret ballot.
I have inside information.
How do you know?
I'll tell you how I know.
Just a moment, let me finish.
How would you know? This is a secret ballot. You see, you are not within the parliament. You tell people these things. You're not there. This was a secret ballot. How do you know?
All right, thank you. Let's leave it at that. Thank you, Farah. Very briefly, let's wind up on it.
There's an important point we should not miss here. I do appreciate when former speaker talks of official opposition electing. But I'm glad what has not been told to us. It appears that in quietness, NASA has recognized its official position. Remember, they have not been going to parliament. They were drawing salaries. That was an issue. I'm glad that we have settled that fact now that, yes, this is official opposition. But having said that, there's the issue of greed and money. That's something that really our parliament needs to look into. Allow me to congratulate Honorable Senator Pogisho, since I haven't met him, and for his being elected chair. two sectors are of much interest to me. The defense and foreign relations for diaspora. Congratulations to Yusuf Ali being re-elected chair. We look forward to working with him. Also for ICT, Senator Gideon Moi. We look forward to working forward the same way we look forward to working with the leaders of those core sectors.
Thank you.
But yes, we need to cleanse how we elect.
Yeah, your final remark on this, David Makali, briefly.
See, you're not giving any track record of that to say that so and so we congratulate
thank you,
him
Farah.
because of this performance. You're just saying so and so.
Well, I think all
the
this...
psychophancy will never leave this country.
No, Farah now is...
All right, then just
that I'm on the floor.
Go ahead.
It's David on the floor now.
I just want to agree with Farah on one thing. The point is that committee chair people are being recommended and sent not necessarily because of speciality, but because of party interests and balancing. That can compromise a few things, including taking away the liberty and freedom of members to elect certain people. And that is not limited to NASA. We've seen it also with Jubilee, when three chairpersons apparently went against the party's collective decision and earned those seats by going directly to the membership of the House. Now, the thing is, we need to free the philosophy, and the running thread in this thing is we need to free people once we put them in place to play the role we've sent them there, rather than remote control them. And that is across the board, across the parties. And that's, I think, what is ailing our House and all the other positions, including even Governor Sonko.
All right, thank you. And
I've not said anything on this one.
Please.
May I just say that I would fight tooth and nail, personally, to make sure that the public accounts and public investment committees are run by the party which has the second largest majority in the House. I would really fight for that. Because that defeats the whole purpose if we are not getting the right people who can then oversight the other side. And I do believe that, I'm hoping that that's what would happen in this case. I do not foresee a situation where a person in government is chairing PIC. Or PSC, you know, and at the same time, that is the system where they belong to. So I really wish that, okay, those small problems that they are within NASA, as to who it is, I just hope that the right people can actually oversight, take issue of audit of government. Should be from the other side. Thank you.
Thank you very much.